Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu5 and you're looking at this again. This is the book or journal that I made in an adult's bookbinding class, and I themed it after the Red Book of Westmarch from Lord of the Rings. That's the book that Bilbo started, where he wrote his memoirs about his journey to the Lonely Mountain, and then that's there and back again. Then he gave the manuscript to Frodo, and Frodo put under there and back again, he put Lord of the Rings, and he finished the book up until the last few pages. Then he gave it to Sam to finish for when Frodo went to the Undying Lands in the West, and Sam was the mayor of Hobbiton for several years, and he lived with his family. And then I think after his wife died, he went west. But anyways, that was the inspiration for this book. You have a map. It's obviously not a Middle Earth map. This is a map of North America and a little bit of Central and South America. But I themed it after Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit or the Red Book of Westmarch, and I haven't really done anything with it. It's just kind of a mathom, if you will. It's my first book I ever bound. I sewed the pages, as you can see right there, very cheaply or poorly sewn, and I bound it. Did a terrible job at lining up the end papers and stuff, and the pages are deckled, and it's just very rustic. And I thought, well, I kind of want to do something. Now, just a side note, I decided to pursue bookbinding as a hobby/interest because I want to do it right. I need a redemption. I need to rebind a book that looks somewhat decent. That's just my goal. And I bought several books on bookbinding, ironically, as an ebook on my iPad Kindle, along with some other books. And, I bought a bookbinding kit. I bought leather for binding in leather. And I have some plans for some books I'm going to rebind and, try to do right. One of them is going to be more of a practice book, and then the other book is going to be a gift, and hopefully it turns out right. Now, back to the subject matter of this video. This is I don't know how many pages it is. It's relatively small. I think I did like 7 signatures. I'd have to count, but it's not the best book. But I wanted to do something with it. I don't want just a plain book on the bookshelf with nothing in it. And I happened to come across on Instagram the 5-year journal. And it's a leather-bound journal that's extremely thick and fancy and expensive. And it has prompts in it. So it has basically a small sentence or paragraph section for each day of the year for 5 years, and they might have a prompt for you to write about. And I've never journaled before, and I think my brother journals, but I'm very, very dysgraphic, so my handwriting is terrible, and it's not the most enjoyable thing for me to do, but I love pens, which is kind of funny. And this is a Waterman fountain pen. I think it's the Hemisphere. And so I like pens, I like books, but I'm dysgraphic and dyslexic. So it's kind of funny. It's really interesting. So I decided I'm going to give journaling a try. After watching this video on Instagram, them selling this really expensive journal, and then going on YouTube and searching how to journal, kind of journaling ideals, I decided that I'm going to use this book as my first journal. And I don't know if it's going to be a daily thing or a weekly thing. Haven't decided yet. It might just be when I'm inspired. I thought about going to work, reading a ebook in the morning as I'm waiting to clock in. And then throughout the day, I listen to audiobooks. And then during lunch, I've been reading the Quran. And then I thought maybe at the end of the day, when I'm getting ready to clock out, I might jot something down about what I'm reading or plans for YouTube or whatever, my plans in general, problems I may have. This isn't going to be published or anything, but I just thought it might be a good idea to think about, my plans and problems and kind of self-analyze. My doctor described me as very analytical, and he's the only person to ever describe me like that. And I guess that's because I talked to him about my mental health and stuff. Not that I'm really bad off or anything, but he is my doctor after all. But I talked to him about different things like anxiety and stuff. And I thought it might just be a good idea to, even though I'm dysgraphic and my handwriting is pretty much illegible, to get together my thoughts and put them on paper. And so, it's weird. I don't know quite how to describe this. I normally have plans for what I want to do with YouTube or what I want to do with my life or hobbies, interests, beekeeping, stuff like that. I'm constantly thinking, and sometimes it can be difficult to turn off the brain when I want to turn off the brain. And that's why I watch a lot of TV and YouTube and stuff, is because it's the only way I can really turn off my brain and not obsess about thought. Then, but is that really constructive? Is that progressive? Is that going to help me any in life if I choose to turn off my brain for the sake of having some relaxing, noiseless thought? I don't know how to describe it. Now, I could either try to turn off my brain by watching YouTube or TV, or I can try to power or harness the static of my brain. That's kind of how I describe it, is, just a little boop, boop, just thoughts that are kind of staticky and stuff. I don't know if you ever watched 27 Days Later. I think it's the name of the movie. It's a zombie movie, and at the beginning they have news reels, and it'll go shh, and then it's the news reel, and then shh, it kind of statics and changes channels and stuff. That's a lot how my thought works. Is I'll be doing something, then shh, static. I'm thinking about something weird, and it's. It can be positive, it can be negative, it can be completely irrelevant. So I'm thinking that I'm going to try using this as my first journal. And so what I'm saying, just to get a little bit more organized, read an ebook or read a ebook in the morning. I'm listening to my audiobooks and probably not going to focus too much on my audiobooks. And then during lunch, read the Quran. And then after work, when I'm waiting to clock out, maybe jot something down that's crossing my mind. So all throughout the day, I'm doing something with my brain. I'm doing something that's I don't want to say progressive, but positive with my brain. And then I'm trying to put thoughts right here. Now, it's weird because when I'm at work and I'm doing these audiobooks, I'm not necessarily checking the beehive. And I might want to write something about the beehive in here. And obviously, if I'm on vacation, if I'm going to the coast, if I'm fishing or traveling, that would be a separate entry. So I won't be at work, and I'll have to find time to, put that entry in when I'm traveling. And I plan on getting a leather-bound journal that's has deckled paper. That's kind of what you call this uneven paper. That's kind of vintage, kind of looks like the journal from the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You know, something that's very vintage or rustic looking, that looks like an old school journal. And I decided this is my Tacturn pen, and I keep this in my bag in case I need a pen or if someone else needs a pen. And I like it. It's kind of iridescent. But I decided I want to use a fountain pen for my journaling. You know, I have a fountain pen. I like fountain pens, how they look. They make me feel fancy. And I thought, well, this would be a good opportunity to actually use my fountain pen. I used to use my fountain pen at school when I was in college. And the teachers didn't like it because it didn't necessarily make my handwriting any better. But, and you know, fountain pens can smear and bleed through and stuff. But I thought, I want to enjoy my fountain pen. And not only do I want to enjoy my fountain pen, I want to buy my Grail fountain pen. And my Grail fountain pen isn't too expensive, and it isn't unattainable. And there's probably cooler fountain pens that I can find that were more worthy of the label Grail fountain pen, like a Block or something. But this is basically my Grail fountain pen, but this isn't a fountain pen. This is I think a ballpoint pen. It might be a Rotoball, but this is a Waterman Phyllis, I think is what it's called. And basically it's inspired by a cigar. It has like this fake cigar band. And I think cigars are attractive as far as, you know, the aesthetics of the product. I think they're very beautiful objects, you know. So I just always gravitated towards this pen, but this pen is broken. So when I got it, it broke relatively soon, and it's not even you know, my preferred style of pen. Anyways, I want to buy a fountain pen in this style, preferably black and gold, but I'll do blue and gold. And there was the pen insert, and if you press too hard on it, I know I'm not focused, but if you press too hard on it, it goes inside. So this pen is pretty much useless. But I want a fountain pen version of this, and I really like fountain pens. You know, anytime you hand a fountain pen to someone, if someone asks to borrow a pen, you hand them a fountain pen, they're always impressed. So I wouldn't mind building a fountain pen collection. So that's it. That's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And by the way, I got my ProTech knife pouch, and that's where this fountain pen is going. That way, if something weird happens, it starts hemorrhaging ink, this will soak it up. So that's it. That's the video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm Asatsu5, and I'm out.